Hi guys, thank you so much for watching my channel. I just got back from VidCon 2013 and I met some very inspiring people, and so I wanted to make this video to talk to you guys about inspiring people and why it's important to have them in your lives. So you guys know, or if you don't know, I should tell you more, that I want to encourage every single one of my viewers to do what you want in life and what you truly love. I think that's really the best way to have a happy life and a healthy life and not end up having a nervous breakdown or a midlife crisis when you're a little bit older, is to pursue what you love as soon as possible, no matter what that might be. So no matter what you want to do, I think that having role models or people who are really inspirational to you is one of the best ways to make sure that you stay on the path that you want to, and to have somebody to look up to and sort of, not that you want to be exactly like them, but goals for yourself, for people who inspire you and who you want to emulate. The people that we look up to, they end up shaping us and they become a part of us. Like, a lot of you all complimented me on my handwriting the other day when I wrote out my book list. And I learned that handwriting because I was absolutely terrible, and I had a wonderful teacher who was my classroom teacher for 3 years named Galina. And in Russia, they don't let you have terrible handwriting as a kid, so she made me practice her handwriting over and over and over. And I'm so grateful to her for that, because I do love my handwriting. And even though my handwriting is my own, hers is a part of it, and I can see the little parts of my mom's handwriting and Galina's handwriting and all different places that it's come from to make up my own. I have to thank my lovely friend Allie Trippy for taking me up to Kandee Johnson and introducing me to her, because Allie's known how much I've loved Kandee for so long, and I think she was really happy to get to introduce me to her. As Allie said when she saw my face after I got to talk to Kandee, she said, "VidCon made," and that was exactly how I felt. This was one of the best and most surreal moments for me, maybe that I've ever had. Kandee was the very first person that I discovered on YouTube and who I subscribed to and who I learned that you could watch often and that they could help you learn things. She was the really first person that I came to see that making videos and sharing positive things on YouTube could be a huge force for happiness and good for other people. I've always loved glamour and old-fashioned style, and looked up to all those beautiful old Hollywood icons and loved collecting pictures of them, but I never realized that if you just wanted to, you can make yourself be like that if you wanted. You can learn the techniques and wear old-fashioned makeup or clothes, and you don't have to wait until you find a time machine and you can go back in time to wear it. So Kandee was really the first one that I started learning makeup from. My little sister sent me an interview with Zooey Deschanel, and her big sister is Emily Deschanel, who plays Bones. And we love both of them a lot, and Zooey was saying everything she knows about makeup she learned from her big sister. And my sister sent it to me because she agrees with that as well, I guess, and it made me feel really good. And even though my sister doesn't fully realize it, almost everything that I've learned from makeup, I learned from Kandee. So I really feel like she is a big sister to me. There are so many techniques that I know, and styles that have been passed on to me, and all sort of things like that are from her. When I started watching Kandee, it was a long time ago in YouTube terms, and it was when you could still get her email address and write her if you had any questions, and it wasn't quite so hard to get a response because now there's a lot of people writing her, so unfortunately she can't respond to everyone, although I know she wants to. I wrote her an email because I was considering moving to Hawaii, and I wanted to continue pursuing modeling, and I had an offer with an agency in Tampa, but I really wanted to move to Hawaii, and I wrote her and I sent her some photos, and I said, I just don't know about this. I keep getting so discouraged, and I just don't know. And she wrote me and she said, "Don't give up." She was so encouraging, and the reply came only shortly after I had sent the email. I was just so happy to receive that from her, and just receiving that kind of encouragement is, I can't even say how valuable it is. So I ended up going to Hawaii. I did sign with an agency there, and I modeled while I was there. I was doing my work through Goddard College, which is where I graduated, and it's a low residency program, so you can live wherever you want. I was studying the Hawaiian charter schools and how they preserve the Hawaiian culture and language in the charter schools. I didn't go to the University of Hawaii, but I lived in the dorms with my boyfriend who went there. So we had a tiny little room. I didn't even have my own key to get in and out of the tower. I felt really weird and really out of place because I just didn't have anything other than him there that was really tying me and letting me get a feel for the place. I felt like I was stuck in my room a lot. So I would watch Kandee's videos. She also has a blog, and she just constantly writes inspirational things and helpful things. And I have sat there watching her so many times on my computer, just like I would be just Skyping a big sister for advice is what it feels like. Just to feel her just saying, you can reach your dreams if you want, if you try hard enough. You will have it. And every single day she says things like that on her blog and in her videos and even her tweets, and it just reminds you to sort of take a deep breath and just know it's going to be okay and you're going to get there. When I was in Hawaii, I made little valentines for all of my friends, and I also, like a fangirl, made some for Kandee and for her kids because I thought it would be a nice little present. And I think at that time, I forget what it was, but I remember on her channel she was talking about she had been going through a really hard time and stuff, and so I just wanted to send her some encouragement. I just wanted to send her that little tiny bit of sunshine like she had been sending me every single day. On her channel, Kandee mostly talks about positive things and teaches you how to do makeup or how to do other techniques. And like me, I think she'd like to share a lot more of her life, but there are just some things that unfortunately you can't share. So I really appreciated seeing her talks about so many hard things that she's gone through. So even though Kandee couldn't share all of the facts about her life, it really came across that she has had so many struggles, and she has always made the best of it and always tried to look on the bright side, and she doesn't let the bad things get to her. And every single day that helped me. And I don't always want my channel to be me just being perfect and just telling you guys how great everything goes, but I also don't want to depress you or scare you. And there's other business reasons and, personal and family reasons that you can't talk about everything in your life. This year has definitely been the hardest year of my life. And I've had a lot of really hard years. So, I don't know how to put that into context. And you guys have been a bright beacon for me, and coming home from VidCon, it's like the sun is just like shining so strongly for me. I feel like, having met so many of you guys, I feel like so much less alone in real life. I feel inspired to vlog all the time because I feel like instead of looking at that camera, I'm really looking at all of you. Kandee was one of those beacons of light for me. I also saw a video that she posted a while ago about her son and some troubles that he'd had in school. So I also wrote her a letter about that because, coming from my alternative education background, I wanted to try to be helpful to her about that. Allie introduced me to Kandee, and it was at a party, and it was very, very loud. She gave me a huge hug, and I told her how long. I basically told her a very, very shortened version of what I just told you guys, and how long I'd been watching her, and that she was the first person that I ever watched on YouTube, and how inspiring she was for me. And I told her that I emailed her a long time ago, and she said, "Oh, what's your name?" And I said, "Jessie Sage," and she said, "Oh my God, I remember you. And she asked me all about my modeling and how everything is going. She was so encouraging, and she looked straight into my eyes and was intently focused on me and what my story was and who I am. And it's just so lovely to meet people like that who you really look up to, and they really care about you, because the wonderful thing about YouTube is that every single one of us helps each other along and inspires each other. She said that her daughter loved the bookmarks that I sent a long time ago, and she still has them in her room, which made me feel really awesome. It was so incredible to get in person that message from her that I've been getting since I was a teenager. Don't give up. You can do it. You can be whatever you want. And just to see her smiling face and just feel her energy just like radiating so strong. Oh, it was amazing. Having inspiring people in your life is really important. It's like having a big sister or brother that you look up to, and you can watch them and learn from them. It doesn't mean that they're perfect, because you can even learn from their mistakes. I think that's something that I've been really lucky to have just somehow grown up with. I just like watching what other people do and learning from them, and I really remember those stories. You can find inspiring people all around, especially with the internet and with Twitter. If you follow the right people, you'll see links to other things that you like, and you can start to sort of make a collection of things that inspire you. I love listening to NPR while I cook. I have it on, and especially like Fresh Air with Terry Gross is a really good show, and she often interviews filmmakers or actors or writers, and they always end up going into their backstory and saying, oh, well, I was in this apartment with no electricity, or I was sleeping on the subway, or, you know, I got told I was hideous by the director of King Kong or whatever. Those stories are so inspiring to me, and so helpful. So I love listening to people's stories like that. Another great place to find stories from inspiring people is to go to the Goodwill bookstore and search down the biography section. Since used bookstores are a lot smaller, the biographies are usually a lot more varying in one space, so you can kind of see a good assortment of all kinds of different crazy lives that people have had. I really love reading biographies, and especially autobiographies, and just seeing what people have been through. It's just one of my favorite things to do, I guess. I'd love to see in the comments some people who inspire you, places that you look for inspiration. I just want to tell you some people that quickly came to mind when I was writing my notes for this video. I also got to meet John Green, who, if you guys don't know, he's one of the founders of VidCon along with his brother, Hank Green. I feel like they are like my nerd inspiration big brothers on YouTube. They are extremely, extremely smart in ways that I'm not, like with science and math. They are also extremely smart in other ways and thoughtful, and I love the way that they interact with their viewers. Hank has the SciShow, which is really cool. If you guys like Bill Nye, you will love the SciShow. They are just thoughtful, kind people. I researched how they did their book club for my book club videos. They're just so inspiring to me because they are really, really smart and really thoughtful, and they don't try to tone it down at all. They have inspired legions of nerds to love them, and Hank gets to sing his songs about science on stage and everybody sings along with him. I feel like they are sort of the founders of a guerrilla movement of teachers who said, you know what, education isn't working, we're just going to make awesome videos and people are going to love it and they're going to be better off for it. And I just love that so much, and it wasn't even meant to be sneaky. It's just them being how they are, and people love it, and they end up learning and thinking about things that they might never even have heard from the news or from school. I screwed up my courage and went up to John Green, and I tried to express to him as quickly as possible and briefly as possible how much he meant to me and how inspiring he is. He's also an author, you guys. So I did that, and again, just to see that person just listening to you and thinking about how they really did affect your life, feels amazing. When we're kids, we sort of idolize our parents, and then as we grow up, we start to realize that they're not perfect and they're just humans. And the same thing starts to happen with other people who are in your life, like teachers or mentors. You start to realize that they aren't perfect, and sometimes you can get really mad at them for that. People that we look up to who are YouTubers or actors or celebrities or authors or whatever, they also aren't perfect. And sometimes when you read something wrong that they did or something allegedly bad that they have done, it can feel really bad because it seems like, wait, I thought they were perfect, now they aren't. But I think that to know that everybody isn't perfect and just to watch their journeys and try to appreciate it, we can learn so much from them. The ones who are worth looking up to feel as strongly about you as you do about them. This weekend I was really stoked. I was at VidCon and I was having a great time, making great connections and meeting wonderful viewers. And I opened my email and I see an email from this woman who I had really been hoping to work with as a model manager. I really thought that she would understand what I have to give in particular, because she has advocated for models not being teenagers and being of a healthier age, like me, being 24. And so I really thought I could do something good with her, and I opened the email, kind of had a little bad feeling in my stomach, and it was very nice and friendly. She had read my email and she looked at my pictures and she said, basically, thanks but no thanks. So that sucked really, really big time. The day before that, I had seen a picture on Instagram which was by Micheline Pitt. If you guys don't know who she is a pinup model and designer. She's an artist. She can draw really, really well. She's really into like old monster movies, and she works for Pinup Girl Clothing. She's super talented and just a few years older than I am. Micheline was on Next Top Model, and she was kicked off for having too many tattoos, and she was told that she would never be a successful model. Everybody was pretty mean to her, and she moved on from that and has since become super successful, and she didn't let that get to her. She didn't give all power to the America's Next Top Model gods. She just didn't let it stop her. She's from Georgia, and she moved out to California, and she kept going, and now she's really successful. And so the picture on Instagram was about how 7 years ago she was kicked off, and now she's getting one of the biggest modeling jobs of her life. This girl is super gorgeous, but she doesn't look anything like what you would think would be walking down the runway right now. Thankfully, I had seen that post on Instagram the night before I received the letter. I took that post and I reshared it with my followers on Instagram because it had meant so much to me in that moment that I had been able to see that, and I thought it was just serendipity, because I would have been a lot more crushed without seeing that. I was so grateful to all of you guys for your supportive comments and other friends who wrote in on Instagram. And eventually Micheline Pitt saw my post and she retweeted it. So that meant a lot to know that I had been able to express to her how helpful her thing had been to me. The last two inspirations that I'm currently thinking of are very different from each other. One is Diana Waters, who was my advisor at Goddard, and she is a super strong woman and super intelligent, but the reason that she's sort of always with me in the back of my head, and I'm thankful for that, is because her area of expertise is educational equity. She would always sort of be pruning away and helping me to be able to open my eyes to being able to recognize my place of privilege and other people's lack of place of privilege. So even though I'm not writing my thesis anymore, I really like to keep her with me in my mind when I'm making videos or anything like that, just to try to remember that every single person isn't me. And you have to invite in other people's views, and there really isn't one thing that is normative. The last inspiration that I'm currently reading her book is Esther Williams. She is sort of the mother of synchronized swimming, and I'm reading her book right now, and as a synchronized swimmer for 9 years, she has always, since I was a little girl, been a huge inspiration to me, because she was so beautiful in the water. She really is a true mermaid. But reading her book is even better because she is really spunky, and she didn't take no for an answer. She didn't bow down to people in places of power. She was an extremely hard worker. So reading her book has been inspiring me to actually practice synchro again, and it's really, really hard when you haven't done something in a while and you used to be kind of good at it. It's really frustrating, but I'm actually working on developing my breath and practicing synchro again. At Cypress Gardens, which was a park in Florida that's recently been changed into Legoland, they built a Florida-shaped pool because they wanted to inspire Esther Williams to come there, and she couldn't resist, I suppose. And I grew up not far from there, and I visited Cypress Gardens a lot, and I would just always dream about what it must have been like during those days and for her to be there. So she's really giving me a lot of inspiration these days. Coming from VidCon, it was so inspiring, and just seeing what people are able to do when they embrace who they are and what they are and just make the most of it. It's incredible. So I hope that every single one of you will be doing that. I hope that I can be a light to you guys like other people have been to me. And that's all. The sun is down, the camera's gonna die, and I love you guys very much. You get extra for today. This stuff, eating junk food and all the stuff that's bad for your system. So I'm a little bit sick, and I'm gonna... Luca! Shh. Luca can't come out right now because of the alligator. I know. I'll tell them you say hi. Come here, Luca. Come on. Come on. Come up here. Come on. Come on, jump up here. You're so lazy. Say hi to everybody. She's got to say hi really quick and then go inside because I am afraid that the alligator is going to eat her.